good morning, everyone. I'm Tanya from the product marketing team here at WebEngage, and today we're going to talk about funnels. I'm going to help you understand how exactly funnel analysis is helpful in making your marketing decisions or your marketing strategy. But before we get started, here is a slight request to you. You can put in your comments at any point in time or any questions that you have in the comments box, and I'll be answering those as soon as I'm done with the webinar. So let's get started. Now, before I jump into the funnel and the funnel analysis, I would want to take this example to help you understand how a user's life cycle looks like and what are the different steps a user takes in this life cycle. So, for example, let's say for step one, the user visits your website. As step two, the user views a product or products. Step three is that the user adds the product or the products to your cart. And step four is the user completes his or her purchase. Now, in this example, there are three key steps that happen. One is the user viewed a product. Second is that the user added the product to the cart. And third is that the user completed the purchase. Now, to understand what exactly happened in this simple life cycle journey that I've just shown you is where funnel analysis comes into the picture. Now, let's take a closer look at the three steps that I just discussed. One was product viewed, second was add to cart, and third was purchased. Right? So, for example, now let's say that 100 users enter the product viewed step. Out of those 100 users, 60 users go on to the second step, which is adding the product to cart. Now, here is where you lose 40% of your users in between step 1 and step 2. Now, out of those 60 users who've added the products to cart, only 30 users go ahead with making the purchase. So, only 50% of the users who add your products to cart go ahead and make a purchase. Now, understanding this step by step, understanding what happened inside my funnel, where exactly am I dropping users, is something that funnel analysis helps you understand. It helps you understand the user's journey from the first step to the last step. It helps you identify the gaps in between the steps and make sure that you can build your targeted communication strategy accordingly. It helps you to nudge users to completion from step 1 to the last step that you have. A good thing to note about funnel analysis in WebEngage on your WebEngage dashboard is that it is sequential. By that, I mean that if step 1 and step 2 are product viewed and add to cart simultaneously, then these steps have to happen sequentially. If a user does an add to cart, the user will not be counted in your funnel because the step 1 of your funnel is product viewed. So, all the funnel analysis that we'll be dealing with today will be sequential in nature. Now, I'd like to discuss the types of funnels that we have. The first is an acquisition funnel. Very simply put, the first stage of an acquisition funnel is the awareness step. Second is where you build interest. Third is acquisition. Some sample acquisition funnels include when a user signs up, when a user installs your app, or when a user submits your contact form. The second type of funnel is an activation funnel. Now, the first step in an activation funnel is the consideration stage, and the last step is the intent. Now, some sample activation funnels are newsletter signups, demo requests, and page or product viewed. Now, these sample activation funnels give you an intent that the user is interested in your product, in your brand, or in a certain activity on your website or your app. The third is the monetization funnel. Now, the monetization funnel you see here is the new monetization funnel. However, the old one would deal with the evaluation, purchase, and retention phase. In the new monetization funnel, you have evaluation, purchase, retention, repeat purchase, and referral. The steps of repeat purchase and referral sort of complete your cycle of making sure that the user comes back to create or to make a second purchase on your platform, and also gives you referrals. Some sample monetization funnels include purchase made, subscription purchase, course completed, or investment made. Now, before I jump into use cases for each industry that you can sort of use to give or draw out your funnel analysis, I'd like to jump into the WebEngage dashboard here and help you understand how exactly do you do this funnel analysis on the WebEngage dashboard. So on your dashboard, if you click on analytics, you have the option to select funnels here. Once you do that, you have the option to click the plus button to create a funnel. Now you can start by giving your funnel a name. So I'm giving my I'm taking an example here wherein a user comes onto your platform, applies for a loan, and then loan application is successful. So I'm gonna start by my step one being defined as loan application started. Now remember, this is sequential in nature. So user has to do step one and then step two to be considered into this funnel. Business loan application submitted as my next step, and my third step as business loan approved. Now, in case you want to also define what happens in one step, or you want to define what happens within the application event started, you can also help filter out by event attributes, which you can do using the funnel button here. These buttons help you sort of minimize or cancel out a step. If you click here, you can now add a filter saying that, okay, my loan type has to be equal to a business loan. So if you're primarily looking at how many business loan applications were generated, this is how you would go on adding the filter. Now you can additionally add other filters, keeping an and or condition. And I can also go on adding other filters such as product name, for example. So I only want to look at business loan, and within business loan, the product name has to be cash credit facility business loan, right? So this is how you get granular into the data, and you define what type of funnel or what's entry into the step you're looking at. Once you're happy with all the steps that you have in your funnel, you simply click on create funnel. And once you do that, you get a sense of what's happening within your funnel given the steps that you've just defined. Now, I'll take a moment here to help you understand what exactly you can see on on your screens here. Over here, you can edit your funnel. Once you do that, you get the option to add steps, remove steps, and update the funnel accordingly. You can duplicate the funnel using this option, and you can delete the funnel using this option. Now let's understand the concept of completion time. Completion time is something that you define as to when step 1 has to be started and step 3 has to be ended in that time frame. So if I'm saying my completion time should be 1 day, in that 1 day my business loan application should be started, submitted, and approved, right? So this is just an example to help you understand what would happen if I would select my completion day as 1 hour 1 minute, or you can also change that to 30 minutes, right? So you have the option to sort of make as many changes as you want to your funnel, and help you understand that what is the average time that you're looking at in which a user should start from step 1 and finish with the last step of your funnel. That defines your completion time. Over here, you can select the number of days over which you want to analyze the funnel. Now, a very important thing to note here is if you're selecting the last 7 days, then that last 7 days is a measure of when step one of the funnel was done. and not the entire journey from step 1 to step 3. So if I've selected last 7 days, I am getting data for the last 7 days over which my step 1 of the event, which is business loan application started, was done. Right now, by a combination of completion time and the number of days over which you're viewing your data is how you get the conversion percentage. Now, this conversion percentage gives you an average of all the users that are entering into the funnel, wherein the completion time is 1 day, and you're viewing this data for over the last 7 days. What is the conversion looking like for such users? You also have average time to convert, which again gives you an estimate of all the users who've entered into the last 7 days of performing business loan application started and have completed the funnel in 1 day. What is the average time that they take to convert on your platform? Now, you can also download this data from this button here, or you can also pin this to your dashboards. Now, dashboards is something we'll be covering separately. Right. So now let's understand what's happening over here. You have the option to analyze your funnel over weeks, days, months, time of the day, days of the week, months of the year, and you also have the option to analyze your funnels over country, city, some technology events such as device model, device manufacturer, and so on. But you also can include your custom events into this. So now my custom events that I'm going to take here would be product name. So now let's understand that for each of the products that I have under business loan application started, what does my conversion funnel look like? So for my first product, which is cash credit business facility loan, 901 users entered step 1 over the last 7 days with a completion time of 1 day. And out of those 901 users, 33.41% users entered step 2. And out of those, 30.97 entered step 3. And the average time to convert was 8 seconds. Similarly, you can view for the rest of the product names what is the number of users entering step 1. Now, keep in mind that step 1, since it's a defining step or the entry step into any funnel that you've created, the numbers here will be absolute and not in percentages. Going forward from step 2 and step 3, you'll be shown numbers in percentages. It's a good idea for you to also use screen URL or page URL to help you understand if you're looking at an activation funnel. So, for example, if you want to understand what a behavior has been on a pricing page or a subscription sign up page, right? So, you can also help understand what that analysis looks like. Over here, what you can see is out of all the 2,133 users that have started the first step of your funnel, 28.74 have reached the second step of the funnel. Of the 28.74s, which is 613 users, 92% of the users have reached the third step of the funnel. So looking at step 2 and step 3, I'd say that the gap is not that bad. You're able to recover approximately 92% of your users who are entering step 2 into step 3 and completing step 3. Now, the major gap that I can see in my funnel here is between step 1 and step 2, where you're only able to recover 28% of your users, and you're losing out on the rest of your users. So if I were to help understand this funnel and put this into a marketing strategy or a marketing campaign, I would try and focus on users who have started their application, loan application, but have not submitted it. This would be a great area for me to nudge my users to submit their application forms. Over here, you also can see the time of conversion between each steps. On the right hand side, the percentage gives you an overall estimate of the total number of users entering step 1. So out of the 2000 odd users that have entered step 1, you have a conversion rate of 26.54%, which is also reflected here. Now, let's get into some examples of how you can use this funnel to help you analyze within whichever industry that you're looking at. For an e-commerce, the different funnel analysis use cases could look like a product purchase, wherein you view the product, you add the product to your cart, and you end up making the product, purchasing the product. Now, the gap that you can analyze here is what is the difference between product viewed and product added to cart, how many users are falling in between these steps, and how many users can be nudged with an add to cart or an abandoned cart sort of a communication. The second step shows you sign up complete. Now, the step one of this would be once a user installs your app, signs up, views the sign up page that you have, and completes the sign up. The third could be campaign engagement. You can understand the mobile push sent within a specific period of time, how many users clicked or engaged with the mobile push communication that you sent, and based on that click, how many users ended up making a purchase on your platform. Now, I'd like to jump over to the dashboard one more time to show you how the mobile push sent looks like. So, if I were to create a test funnel and say mobile push send. So you have all of these system events that you can leverage to understand how does your engagement within each channel looks like. So if you click on mobile push send, you can now click on the filter here and put in any filter that you'd like. For example, campaign ID or app ID. Over here, I'm going to put event time and select within the last 1 month. So all the push notifications that you've sent, say within the last 1 month, will be taken into account over here. Coming back, the funnel analysis use cases for EdTech could include course purchased, with step one being you view the course, you add the course to your cart, and you make a successful purchase. Second is course completion. You can also look at how many users started from purchasing a course and ended up finally completing the course that they purchased. So, course purchase would naturally be step one, course started would be step two, and step three would be course completed. The third example could be class attendance. You could measure and understand how many users sign up to your live class versus how many users end up clicking on the live class link or end up attending your live class. Now, these are just sample of what you can help achieve. However, based on your custom events that you've defined on your WebEngage dashboard, you can get as granular as you want with each of these steps in the funnel. For BFSI and FinTech, the use cases could be contact form submitted. So if a user lands on a contact page viewed and selects the type of, let's say, loan he's looking for, either it's a business loan or a home loan or a personal loan, and submits your contact form. So if at stage 2 you were able to understand that the user is looking for a home loan, but the user did not go ahead submitting the contact form, you can accordingly send a nudge to the user saying that why don't you go ahead and submit your contact form, right? The second example could be loan application. So if a user goes onto your loan application page, starts filling out the loan application, completes the loan application, and I've added the last two steps as per loan application review and approved to help you understand the entire loan application approval process and how long would the conversion time for that take. Third is KYC complete, wherein you're simply sort of measuring how many users signed up, started filling out their KYC details, and ended up completing their KYC. For travel and hospitality, the use cases could look like how many users searched for a flight, added the said flight to cart, and went ahead with making a purchase. Second is hotel booking, over wherein you measure how many users made an inquiry for a respective hotel or a respective hotel in a particular city, and how many users reviewed their booking and made the payment. The last one could be for an adventure platform wherein a certain activity was browsed, sign up for that activity was complete, and the payment was made. So you can understand how many users browse an activity or an adventure activity on your platform, and how many users end up signing up for that activity and making a payment or a purchase for that activity. You can also help understand here what the role discount plays in you giving them a discount to sign up for a certain activity versus when you don't. For the media and entertainment industry, the following funnel use cases can be used. One is subscription, where you understand when a user visits your subscription page, selects your subscription type, purchases your subscription, and completes the payment or reaches the payment checkout page. Second is content consumption. Like I said, you can also use system events such as session started, mobile push sent, like we just discussed earlier. So, with the help of session started, you can understand how many users come onto your platform, start their session, and view the content. Over here on the content viewed part, you can also filter out basis the number of articles they read, or the number of content or the number of TV shows or movies they viewed or watched. The third is resubscription, wherein you identify users whose subscription end date was in the last 1 month using a custom event. The second step is where they go on to viewing your subscription page. Maybe it's because of an email communication or any communication that you must have sent informing that their subscription is about to expire, and how many users end up purchasing the subscription. It's helpful to understand how many users start your resubscription funnel and how many end up subscribing to your product or to your services again. That was all for today's webinar. We hope it was helpful and that you had some insights into how to get started with funnel analysis on your WebEngage dashboard. Now I'll open up to questions. So one question is, how can you define rules for different loan applications inside your system and perform validations? Um, so if you're looking at a loan application which is for a specific type, you can do that with the help of the filter that you have. Right? You can help understand what um, that filter looks like. So if you have different types of loans, let's say business, home, and personal, so you can use that filter to only look at loans that were applied for, let's say, home loans, or loan applications that were started for, let's say, business loans, right? So that is the way you can filter out each funnel that you have. This is the way that you can sort of help you understand how you can get granular with every step that you're defining. You can not just start with the custom events that you have on your platform. You can use the filter option to use the event attributes that you've defined for each custom event to filter out what your step 1 or your step 2 in the funnel would look like. I hope that answers your question. A similar question is, how can you onboard customers in less time? So I would say that definitely make use of funnel analysis, help understand how many users sign up on your platform and how long it takes for them to make a first transaction on your platform. With that timeline, funnel analysis will help you understand what is the average conversion time, how long the users are spending in between the steps that you've defined, and this will definitely help you align at what point in time you need to communicate with your users, or at what stage you need to communicate with your users and nudge them towards making a purchase. So I hope that was useful and helpful for all of you, and thank you for joining on this webinar. We'll definitely be sending you a recording of this webinar and a cheat sheet as well. We have another question that says, can we set up a journey to nurture and convert B2B customer in this platform? Yes, of course. So once you've identified what event you're looking at or what is the gap that you want to fill, For example, let's say I want to look at the gap that is from users who have signed up, who have landed on the demo request page versus users who have clicked on the get demo button. If you want to look at that set of users, you can definitely make a segment out of this, and every time a user enters into this segment, you can start building out a journey for those users using the journey designer on WebEngage. All right, thank you everybody for joining in today.